Welcome to Lazy Movie Reviews, and today we're going to do a review on Undertone. Lots of people are, very mixed about this movie. I've seen people say they hate this movie. It's the worst movie they ever seen, which is crazy to me. They just don't like slow burn movies. Movies like Midsummer, The Witch, like slow burn movies like that. If you don't like movies that have that slow burn until, it pops off in like the third or final act, you just get burned out or you just don't, you get wanting to get on your phone and look at TikTok, and it just can keep your attention. If you don't like those kind of movies, you're just not going to like this film, and you might as well just not go. I can just save you the time and say 0 out of 5 stars right now if you cannot stand a build-up type of a movie that burns really slow. Some people like it, and some people just don't know what to think. And so, I'm going to get into what I think, but first, we're going to talk about the trailers. So, there were some bangers. Teenage sex and a death that can't Miamsa. Banger.
Love is the heart.
Disclosure Day. Banger.
Today is today's
Ready or Not 2. Banger.
The game will begin
They're coming. Oh my God.
in 5.
They Will Kill You. Banger.
Gotcha.
The Death of Robin Hood. Banger.
I owe you an apology. You begged for me to let you die. What's your name?
Banger after 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 banger.
And then not too many people know about Backrooms. You gotta know the lore, where it came from, then turned into a video game, whatever. That's gonna be a maybe banger. So yeah, the trailers. I like the trailers before this movie started, and I do know that it is different from theater to theater. But anyways, let's hop into Undertone. So we got Undertone, a movie about Evie and Justin. They got their
Welcome to
podcast.
the Undertone podcast, where we talk about all things creepy. I'm your in-house skeptic, Evie Babbage, and my believer co-host says he has a real treat for us today.
They play audio clippings of things going on with people, and they kind of like say their review or their take or what they think. He thinks a lot of this stuff could be real and whatever, and he dives in and gives his like synopsis of things, and she just debunks everything and doesn't really, care. I mean, she cares because it gets the views and the ratings, but she isn't going to care enough to be like, this is real. We got to help them. She just thinks everything is, people just wanting to be heard and people just love hearing their voice. So, yeah, that's a good duo to have when you have people that, agree on some things. They may disagree on some things. They have different viewpoints. That's always awesome. And hey, maybe one day I'll do that for my channel. But anyway, so they get these audio clippings sent in to them. Well, Justin gets them and brings them on into the show. And there's 10 of them.
10 mysterious audio recordings from an anonymous email.
Are you implying there's hidden messages in it?
Let me play it back in reverse.
This movie, like I said, it's a slow burn. So it's going to walk you through audio clip 1 all the way to audio clip 10. Obviously, when audio clip 10's going to happen, it's going to go down. It's going to go down. That's going to be your final act, clearly. So when this movie starts out, I mean, they do a really good job introducing the duo, making you feel from her side that she has a lot going on. Like, her mom is basically a vegetable, and she's bedridden, and she's basically going to die, and she finds out she's pregnant, and she just has a lot on her plate, and nobody's helping her, and you can really feel it. Like, they did a really good job, diving you into her character. And then Justin's the caring friend, and he has her back, and you could tell they're good friends. So I can't really say too much because really it will ruin the film. Like, even just if I show little snippets of the trailer and try to say some things about it, it's just really telling you too much because, like I said, it's a slow burn, and those things lead into what eventually, is what leads you and transitions from act to act. So I'm just going to talk about how I felt after each act. So after the first act, I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm intrigued. They did a good job introducing the characters, making you see, things with her mom. We got the first clip happening, and now things are getting a little eerie. And then after the second act, I'm just like, okay, I'm still intrigued. They're cooking. They're cooking. They're doing a good job building it up for me. So then after the third act, I'm like, oh my gosh, here we go. I'm hyped, me personally, because I'm like, the way this movie does with the sound.
What if we unleash something?
Is crazy. Like, I can't hype it up enough. Like, if I had to just base this movie off of the sound, I would have been like 4 or 5 out of 5. They revolutionized the game with the sound. Like, what they did with the sound of this movie, like, it really makes you like look at dark corners like, oh snap, like, is there something in that dark corner? Or you want to look behind you and be like, who, somebody watching me? What's that? What's that? Somebody upstairs? You hear that sound over there? When you hear something, you're like, oh snap! It's just your kids. Like, it's crazy. Your kids are gonna make a sound in the background after you see this movie if you actually give it a chance, and you're gonna just be like, "Now I know y'all kids lying. Y'all better stop with y'all big bags." So yeah, like, they did a great job with the sound, and so I'm just, I'm like, oh man, I'm all in, and I don't get scared of movies like that. I'm like desensitized to it because I've watched so many scary movies, and I watch them all the time, constantly through my whole life. When something's gonna pop out, when the music is building slow to that, jump scare. Like, you just know how to call that stuff out when you've seen these movies, X amount of times. So I'm heading to the fourth act. I'm like, okay, let's see what happens. And we get into that fourth act. And after I left the movie theater afterward, my initial thoughts, because I was just so hypnotized by the sound, I was like, this movie's like a strong 4. Like, I was like, it has to be a 4. It has to be a 4. But I gave it a day or two to really sink in. And after I finally let myself calm down from the high of how they changed the game with the sound, I was like, yeah, this movie's like a 3. It's like a 3 for me. And when it comes to slow burn movies, it's going to move slow. It's going to pace slow. They're going to slowly cook. There might be like an investigation, like in The Ring, like how she's investigating and finding things out, and then things pop off later. Movies like that in Midsommar and The Witch, they slowly build. And I'm like, you know what, whatever. But they get to that third act, or that final act, the fourth act, and it's all about that superhero landing. Like, Spider-Man comes out, Peter Parker does that land, he starts shooting the webs out. You're like, oh snap, it's Spider-Man. But then you see those memes online where it's like the 500-pound Spider-Man, and he lands, he probably broke his cankles, and he's wobbly, and he could barely shoot the web because the superhero landing was not that good. That is not shaming no one. Hey, look, big back Spidey, I love you, brother. No shame. But the landing they didn't land in the landing. They just really didn't. And especially people who don't like slow burn movies, if they made it all the way through to the end just to get what happened, they're going to naturally say it's the worst movie I ever seen, which is still insane to me, and whatever. But I think this movie is worth seeing in theaters, and I would give this movie 3 out of 5 stars. That is what I'm settling with. That is what I'm sticking with. So we'll go ahead and cut it there. Thank you for watching this review. This is G Lee, Leezy Review. You guys have a good day or night, or maybe it's the afternoon. I don't know when you're watching this. Have a good whatever. Later.